Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've sat down and filmed a video. It's actually been 2 months. So here's hoping that everything's the way it should be and I'm not too rusty. Let's get into today's video. Today's video is going to be my January reading wrap-up. I'm going to try to be better about my reading wrap-ups this year. Last year was a mess. I think I did it for about 3 or 4 months and then didn't do it for the rest of the year, but we're going to try to be on top of this year. As I say, being a full month late posting this wrap-up video. It's to the point, like in another week or two, I'm going to have to post my February reading wrap-up, but I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I had a bit of a slow start for January. I only read 3 books. My reading goal for the year, at least according to Goodreads, is 50 books. That's always my goal, with the personal goal of 100 books. But as long as Goodreads says I read 50 books, that's all I truly care about. But once I hit 50 books, I always try to double it. But we're going to see about the 50 books. But like I said, a bit of a slow start. I only read 3 books. The very first book that I read this year is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. I actually started reading this towards the tail end of 2019, and it just took a while for me to actually get through it. It's a fairy tale retelling. It's about 12 sisters. It's a fairy tale that I'm actually not familiar with. It's about 12 sisters, and it takes place in this like sea kingdom at this manor. And it's believed that this family is cursed. Like a sister has died, and then another sister died, and then another sister died. And so the kingdom actually thinks this family is cursed. Our main character doesn't believe it's a curse. She thinks somebody is behind it all. So it's her kind of like investigating her sister's deaths. She truly believes that they were not accidents. Something's afoot, where everyone's like, no, it's all accidents, y'all just have bad mojo. Before I forget, our main character's name is Annalee. I thought the idea was interesting enough. The atmosphere was very spooky and very descriptive, but I didn't actually care for the story itself. Annalee kept making these assumptions or followed these gut leads with no real evidence, and it was rather frustrating. And the romance itself, because Annalee eventually starts falling for somebody, the romance itself was eh. Basically, there was just a lot happening in this book without the detail to back it up. Like, the culture of this kingdom is like there's gods and goddesses that actually have like actual power in this kingdom, and each kingdom has their own god and they worship them. And throughout the book, I'm not actually believing that any of these gods or goddesses are real. No, this god and goddesses actually eventually make an appearance, but they don't really make this appearance until towards the end. Like, what ends up happening wasn't set up properly, and so I didn't really believe. I couldn't suspend my disbelief. And something happens with our love interest at the very end that never gets explained, and I found it very irksome. It was basically a chore to read. I ended up rating this 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Idea was cool, atmosphere was very cool, everything else was yikes. The next book that I read in January is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. What's basically the storyline? This one's also a very complicated story. Alice is our main character, and she grew up kind of like with a nomad sort of lifestyle with her mother, and it was always assumed that they lived this way because the bad luck was following them, but Alice never quite understood what the bad luck was. But eventually things calmed down enough to where she finally settled in a city with her mother. Like, her mother marries someone and there's an actual life here. But they've stayed in this city for too long, to the point to what was chasing them finally catches up with them. And Alice finds out that it's actually the storybook land that her grandmother wrote about. It's real and it's chasing them. The people of the storybook land captures her mother, and she has to go rescue her mother. So I thought the overall concept was very cool. Loved the folklore aspect of it. Kind of liked the idea of like a Grimm's fairy world that, okay. Love reading about it. Wouldn't want to actually be a part of it. So that was my favorite part. The world itself was very cool. I feel like I'm saying very cool a lot in this video. Fascinating. We'll go with fascinating. The world itself was fascinating. Everything else was kind of meh. and I especially found Alice really frustrating. It was just more a personality thing. I just didn't click well with the character. I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. The last book that I read in January is The Bride Test by Helen Hoang. This is number 2 in a series, but actually it kind of reads as a standalone. So I think there's this world here. The Kiss Quotient is the first book, and then The Bride Test is book number 2. But the book number 2 reads as its own story, so I think it's part of the same world, and the characters do know each other. I didn't read The Kiss Quotient. I've never read it. I didn't realize it was part of the same universe until I prepped for this video a little bit. The story is a romance. Our main characters are Kai and Esme. Kai lives in America and he has autism, and his very traditional mother, who's originally from Vietnam, believes it's time for him to find a wife. But he feels that because of his autism, he's broken and he can't actually commit to a relationship right now. His mom thinks that's silly, goes to Vietnam, finds Esme, and brings her back to America to where they can try to do an arranged marriage thing. The mother tells Esme, hey, you can try this out, and if it doesn't work out, you can always go back home. Esme has her own daughter back home, and she feels that this could be an opportunity for her and her daughter to try for a better life. But she doesn't want to necessarily just marry him out of convenience. She does want a real relationship. So Esme knows this could be good for her and her family, but would rather marry for love. So she actually tries to go for real in this relationship. I was very into the romance. I liked the grudging respect to love sort of trope happening in this story. Kai's not interested, and then he slowly starts feeling for her, and then he realizes he actually is in love with Esme by the end. And I liked how Esme didn't actually love him at first either. I just liked the relationship development between the two characters. It wasn't insta-lovey. I hate insta-love, and I thought the romance was a lovely slow burn. I think it was Whitney from Witty Novels who said on Twitter, if the romance isn't a rotisserie chicken, I don't want it. And this was rotisserie chicken. And this book was overall very much an easy read. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. It's just like towards the end, I wasn't fully satisfied with the conclusion of some of these characters. So as much as I enjoyed it, I couldn't love it because of what the ending was. I ended up rating it 3.5 stars on Goodreads because I kept flipping between 3 stars and 4 stars. So in the end, I thought it was just easier to just cut it down the middle and call it 3.5 stars. If you're looking for a romance, this is great as a romance. But if you're the type of person that really wants to see a follow through with all of the characters, even the side characters, maybe this isn't for you. That's it. That's everything that I read for January. Let me know down in the comments of what your thoughts on some of these books are. Let me know if it's worth reading The Kiss Quotient, because I don't know if I actually want to go back and try it out. If it's a lot like this second one, I'm leaning towards yes, but let me know if it's worth my time down in the comments below. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess it's ta-ta for now. Bye guys.